Welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're going to fundamentally shift how you look at success, productivity, and just personal growth in general. I want you to go ahead and forget all those superficial life hacks and 5-minute morning routines that literally flood our feeds every single day. We're drawing entirely from Stephen Covey's absolutely legendary framework here, really digging into how deep, lasting change actually happens.
Because look, so many of us are incredibly efficient, right? We hit our goals, we manage our time perfectly, we're climbing that ladder of success at record speed. But what if, after all that exhausting climbing, you suddenly realize your ladder's leaning against the completely wrong wall? I mean, beneath all that outward visible success, there's so often this inner hunger, this feeling of just profound burnout.
So here is our roadmap today to get from dependency to true self-mastery. We'll cover 1. The inside-out approach. 2. The power of paradigm shifts. 3. The effectiveness balance. 4. Habit 1, which is be proactive. And finally, 5. Habit 2, the end goal. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. The inside-out approach, the illusion of the quick fix.
Okay, so we live in an era that is completely obsessed with quick fixes. I mean, for the last 50 years or so, success culture has been entirely focused on what's called the personality ethic. It's basically slapping a social band-aid on a problem, optimizing your LinkedIn profile, or learning some neat little psychological trick to get people to like you. It's that classic fake it till you make it mindset. But here's the thing, true mastery, that actually requires the character ethic. It's about building deep, enduring roots. We're talking integrity, humility, courage. The inside-out approach means you absolutely have to start with yourself first. You literally cannot improve your relationships or your career using some external technique if your deepest motives are flawed. If your character is fundamentally lacking, no amount of positive thinking is going to hide it for long.
Moving on to Section 2. The power of paradigm shifts, the map, and the territory.
So to actually change our character, we first have to change how we see the world. And that brings us to paradigms. A paradigm is basically just your mental map. But, as we all know, the map is definitely not the territory. Imagine you're trying to find a specific coffee shop in Chicago, but by some weird printing error, you've actually been given a map of Detroit. Well, you can think positively, you can run twice as fast, you can try really hard, but it absolutely doesn't matter. Your behavior isn't the problem there, the map is. If your underlying paradigm is wrong, your actions are literally just going to get you to the wrong place faster.
To really show you how powerful a shift in this map can be, consider this famous anecdote. Imagine you're sitting on a quiet subway train. A man gets on with his children. The kids are being super loud, obnoxious, running totally wild, and the man, he just sits there with his eyes closed, doing absolutely nothing. You'd naturally feel pretty irritated, right? I know I would. But then, someone finally speaks up, and the man softly apologizes. He explains that they just came from the hospital, where the children's mother actually died an hour ago. Boom. Instantly, your irritation just vanishes. Your behavior and your attitude change without any forced effort at all, simply because your underlying paradigm, your mental map of that situation, just experienced a massive quantum shift.
So, to navigate safely, we have to align our subjective maps with objective, unchanging lighthouse principles. These are things that govern human effectiveness. I'm talking about principles like fairness, integrity, and human dignity. These aren't just nice, fluffy values, they are natural laws. Just like gravity exists in the physical dimension, these principles exist in the human dimension. You really can't break them, you can only break yourself against them.
Section 3. The effectiveness balance, the goose and the golden egg.
Let's define what true effectiveness actually looks like. And we'll use a fable you've probably heard a million times. A farmer finds a goose that lays a golden egg every single day. Naturally, he becomes super rich, but he also gets incredibly greedy and impatient. So he kills the goose to get all the eggs at once. But, surprise, he finds absolutely nothing inside. He totally destroyed the asset that produced his wealth in the first place. Well, true effectiveness operates on this exact same balance. If you obsess only over the golden eggs, the production, and you completely neglect the goose, the production capability, you will eventually destroy the very asset that brings you success.
And look at how this applies literally everywhere. Say you want your kid to clean their room, right? That's the golden egg. You could yell, threaten them, ground them until it's spotless. Sure, you get the egg, but you've completely damaged the relationship, which is the goose. True effectiveness is always about balancing that short-term win with the long-term health of the underlying asset.
All right, Section 4. Habit 1. Be proactive. The gap between stimulus and response.
Now, this habit actually starts in the darkest of places, psychiatrist Viktor Frankl's realization in a World War II death camp. He was stripped of everything, lost almost his entire family, and suffered unimaginable horrors. And yet, naked and alone in a small room, he realized something profound. His captors completely controlled his physical environment, yes, but they absolutely could not control his internal response. He retained the ultimate internal freedom, which was the freedom to choose how that experience would actually affect him.
Right there, in that tiny gap between what happens to us and how we react to it, lie 4 totally unique human endowments. We're talking self-awareness, imagination, conscience, and independent will. Animals don't have these. They operate purely on instinct and training. But these 4 unique endowments are what allow us to hit pause. They allow us to actively write a new program for ourselves, rather than just reacting automatically to whatever environment or past conditioning we have. And this is what it actually means to be proactive. We are not determined by our genetics, our upbringing, or our environment. Seriously, look at the word itself, responsibility. Responsibility. It's literally the ability to choose your response. Proactive people subordinate their momentary, fleeting feelings to their deeply held values.
Just listen to the people around you at the office sometime. Reactive language is a total self-fulfilling prophecy. When you say things like, "Oh, he makes me so mad," or "I just have to do this," you are actively absolving yourself of responsibility. You're literally handing your emotional remote control over to someone else and playing the victim. Proactive language, on the other hand, completely empowers us. It's saying, "I choose, I prefer, I will."
Because, look, we all have a circle of concern. These are the things we care about but absolutely can't control, like the economy, the weather, or doom scrolling the nightly news. But inside that is our circle of influence. That's our own habits, our attitudes, our responses. Reactive people obsess over the news and complain about things they can't change, which actually shrinks their influence. Proactive people, they focus purely on what they can actually change, and by working on themselves, they generate this positive energy that eventually causes their actual influence to expand.
Section 5. Habit 2. The end goal. The blueprint for your life. Okay, I want you to imagine walking into a funeral. You're looking at the casket and you realize it's yours. 3 years from today. What exactly do you want those speakers to say about you? What kind of friend, spouse, or colleague were you? This exercise instantly strips away all of your superficial ambitions. Whatever your answer is to that question, that is your ultimate paradigm. It is the absolute end goal by which you need to measure everything else you do today.
You see, everything is created twice. First mentally, like drawing up the blueprint of a house, and then physically, the actual construction of it. If you don't proactively write your own mental script, I can practically guarantee you will default to living out the scripts handed to you by society, the algorithm, or just other people's agendas. You have to take charge of that first creation.
Which means leadership must come before management. Management is efficiently hacking through the jungle brush with a machete. But leadership is having the vision to climb the tallest tree and yell, "Hey, wrong jungle." It's absolutely crucial because no amount of efficient management can save you if you're sprinting in the completely wrong direction. You have to know your destination before you sprint.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I have a challenge for you for the next 30 days. Stay entirely inside your circle of influence. Make small commitments and actually keep them. Stop hacking at the leaves of attitude and behavior and really start fixing those root paradigms. Ask yourself today, are you writing the script of your own life, or are you just reading the lines someone else handed you?